So, you're a comic book company that's about to crash and burn. You need to sell the film rights to make more money to carry on. So you sell most of your comic book rights to Sony, Fox, and Universal. And you are now thinking of making a shared cinematic universe. So you have to use the runt of the litter. But you're not Marvel, you're Sony. So you have to use characters that aren't Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. But you can use Wonder Woman in some cases. This is what DC could do as a DCEU, like the MCU. By the way, before this video starts, some of these movies will be based off the MCU, and some of them won't. I'm doing this because there's no way I will be able to do a Civil War or an Endgame and Infinity War style type of movie, because this DCEU won't have Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. It will have Wonder Woman, but we won't be able to do like Darkseid without Superman. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so our first movie is The Flash, our counterpart to Iron Man. Now, the reason why I didn't choose a rich billionaire boy genius is because we want to build a cinematic universe with this character, and I thought The Flash is a main character, and like it'll be a bit weird to have, I don't know, Blue Beetle or Green Arrow to fight our big bad of this DCEU. So that's why I chose The Flash as a creative way of taking down our big bad of this series. Also, the reason why I chose him as our counterpart to Iron Man is because I will be doing a Civil War in this series. So, and I thought to have as our Captain America counterpart, like the character that I'm going to use does have an anti-hero. And I was originally going to pick The Flash as our Captain America counterpart, and he has no Winter Soldier counterpart, and that's a big part of Civil War. So, and Winter Soldier, so we can't really have that. Now for our counterpart to the Hulk, we have Wonder Woman. Now the reason why I chose Wonder Woman is because I wanted someone to have I wanted a studio to have the rights to Wonder Woman, and I thought Universal would buy out Wonder Woman. I'd think Sony would buy out Superman and Fox would buy out Batman. So that's why I chose Wonder Woman. So we can have someone in this Justice League that is a big leagues member. And also makes sense because Hulk didn't get that much movies, and I don't think he can really make that much movies with Wonder Woman as a character. Don't get me wrong, Wonder Woman is a big character, but she doesn't have that much villains to make movies of. So it'll be a bit tricky to make movies of her. You'll just have to use Ares, then Cheetah, then, Maxwell Lord. And yeah, you're kind of struggling, so you can't really, you can use Giganta, but she won't be a main villain. So it'll be a bit tricky, so that's why I use her as our counterpart to Hulk, because she gets her own one movie, and yeah, she'll also get recasted after this movie because the Hulk didn't want the MCU, because I'm basing every movie off of the MCU basically. Following up, we then move on to The Flash 2, which introduces us to Black Canary and Kid Flash. Just like how in Iron Man 2, we got War Machine and Black Widow. The Flash 2 would also have Barry's connection to the Speed Force slowly dying off, which would and Barry would find out a way of curing this by making the cosmic treadmill. Just like how in Iron Man 2 we had the new arc reactor that was built. Arc reactor, I forgot the name of it. I think it was just called arc reactor. So in this movie we just have Barry making a new cosmic treadmill, which makes him go faster. Thor introduced the MCU to a magical mystical artifact that can change the world and can only be used by a few people, and it's our first introduction to space in the MCU. So I chose Green Lantern, a guy that is our first introduction to space in the DCEU and has a magical mystical artifact that can only be unlocked by a few people. Also, instead of introducing Green Arrow, we're introduced to Aquaman, a character that people made fun of because of Family Guy. And, because in the MCU, everyone made fun of Hawkeye for shooting a bow and arrow. Green Arrow is cooler than Hawkeye, so that's why I chose Aquaman instead. And plus, I don't know, there can be some connection between these two characters. For Captain America, the first Avengers replacement, we have Green Arrow, the first modern hero. I thought of coming up with a new title for this. I just thought, he can't be the first ever superhero ever made because that's Wonder Woman in this timeline. So that's why I picked Green Arrow. Also, Green Arrow and Captain America used a physics-based weapon. And plus, they're also blonde, so... And they don't really have that much powers other than Captain America having super strength. And plus, the colours are bright and prominent colours of the rainbow. So, yeah, there's that also. Now we have Justice League, which is our Avengers replacement. And the team consists of Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Black Canary, Green Arrow, and the Green Lantern, with our Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. replacement being Amanda Waller and Argus, with the Loki replacement being Sinestro. And since we can't have Darkseid because of the Superman film rights, we will instead have Vandal Savage. Vandal Savage's goal throughout this universe will be to destroy humanity to make it better. Whatever the hell that means. Okay, so for the Flash 3, we will have Reverse Flash. That sounds exciting, but I'm trying to base this off of the MCU. So it'll be some copycat guy, that like an actor. Because in the MCU we didn't have the Mandarin, we had an actor playing the Mandarin. Instead, we will have the Thinker, who would work for an organization named Hive, just like how we had Aldrich Killian working for AIM, which never shown up again in the MCU. Now, for Thor the Dark World, we will have Green Lantern, Orange Avarice, or something along the lines, because we'll have Larfleeze as the main villain, who will be dull and boring, just like how in Thor the Dark World, Malekith was dull and boring. In the comics, he's way more fun than this. He's insane, he's crazy, he's psychopathic. But in this, he's boring. So we have to make Larfleeze, a greedy bastard, boring. Also, in this film, we will be introduced to our artifact of this entire cinematic universe, which will be the JSA, the Justice Society of America. But one of the members will be the main artifact that everyone's trying to get. I won't tell you who it is, but he is incredibly powerful, and you probably will know who it is, judging by the fact of which villain we chose for our main cinematic universe. This is mainly because the first Green Lantern, Alan Scott, the first human Green Lantern, was in the JSA. So I'm linking this way. And plus, we can't use the mother boxes because they're part of Superman's universe, because we can't use Darkseid because he's a Superman villain as well as a Justice League villain, but he has a lot to do with Superman. Okay, so for Captain America the Winter Soldier, it'll be Green Arrow, the Forgotten Ward. I don't know why I'm using this title for. That sounds like a crap title. But it does have a lot to do with Arsenal, who is our Winter Soldier replacement. Now, I'm kind of matching it up with like the arc from Young Justice where Arsenal gets kidnapped and like he gets his arm removed and everything, and he gets cloned. So, like, I'm kind of marrying these two parts up together, and I think it could work very well. Plus, Arsenal is an anti-hero, and also, like, I was originally going to have it be a Flash movie. Like, the entire Captain America trilogy was going to be a Flash trilogy. But instead, I changed it to a Green Arrow trilogy because I thought it would work better having an anti-hero, because the Flash has no anti-hero friends. But however, unlike Captain America the Winter Soldier, Green Arrow and Black Canary, who are counterparts to Captain America and Black Widow, will get together because I don't want them to. Actually, Wonder Woman is our counterpart to Hulk, so. And Hulk and Black Widow get together in the MCU, so. Maybe. Also, our counterpart to Falcon will be Cyborg, because of a reason that'll make sense to you later. Okay, for Guardians of the Galaxy, I kind of ran into a problem here. And that's why we're going to be switching Avengers Age of Ultron with Guardians of the Galaxy. We're going to be switching them two around. Okay, so for Age of Ultron, it'll be Justice League Age of Malefak. Or it could be Justice League Age of Amazo, depending on which character you choose to be in this Justice League. The team's roster would consist of the same characters from the original, and Beast Boy as the counterpart to Quicksilver, Raven as the counterpart to Scarlet Witch, Martian Manhunter, or Red Tornado as the counterpart to Vision, Cyborg as the counterpart to Falcon, Kid Flash as the counterpart to War Machine, and yeah, that's basically the league. And the Titans. So now we have Guardians of the Galaxy, which will be Team Titans. And the team would consist of Cyborg, Beast Boy, Raven, and Arsenal. This will be our first look at Vandal Savage properly as a speaking role, and it will also feature Brother Blood, and it would kind of be a mixed match of Young Justice, because we don't have Nightwing or Dick Grayson or any of the Robins, so yeah. And it'll also feature the clone part of Young Justice, so it's more of a Young Justice series movie. So yeah, I think it could work theoretically. I mean, they have done a run on the Titans before without Robin, and yeah, this is basically what we would get. You could also include Starfire, but I chose not to because we don't have Nightwing or Dick Grayson in it yet, because those two characters thrive off of each other. Also, you could kill off Beast Boy in this movie, because he kind of serves as our Groot and Quicksilver role, and both of those characters die in their first appearance. But you could also have Raven bring back Beast Boy in this movie. So you could do whatever you want with Beast Boy, I don't really care. But he does come back at the end because he's the key part of the Titans, and I can't really see them killing him off. The Ant-Man would be a Atom film, obviously. And instead of having Scott Lang, we would have Ryan Choi, because for some reason they changed it to Scott Lang, from Hank Pym to Scott Lang, so we're going to have to change it to Ray Palmer to Ryan Choi. And the reason why the MCU did this is because Hank Pym is a bit domestic abuse-y, so no one would want to see that in, like, it happens in the comics, and it's a big part of him as a character other than creating Ultron. But I can't think of a reason why they would want to do that in this film. But I'm trying my best to, like, make it basically the same as the MCU, with a few key changes. Alright, so now we have Civil War, and its replacement will be Green Arrow, Tower of Babel. Now, I'm kind of really working Civil War to work for this DCEU. So I'm putting, like, Green Arrow, right, who's recently been a grounded superhero. He's supposed to be grounded in reality. Has a lot, but this Green Arrow, right, has a lot to do with politics, FBI, Argus. He has a lot to do with secret agent type stuff. So he's going to become paranoid. And this also is furthered by his paranoia with the whole Justice League scenario with his best friend, like Barry Allen, I don't know, creating a portal to Malafleck, or like helping out create a Mazo. So he's gonna create the, like, contingency plans in this universe. So that's how I'm working my way with, like, how I'm working around this Civil War storyline. Now, since I'm basing it off of Civil War, I'm gonna base the teams off of Civil War. And it might not be the way I want it to be. And I'm also going to be, like, working in the rights, like Sony and Marvel, the Sony and Marvel. I'm going to be bringing in our version of Spider-Man into the DCEU. Right off the bat, Team Arrow looks incredibly OP because it has Arsenal, Aquaman, the Atom, Raven, Cyborg, and of course, Green Arrow. Alright, so let me tell you this team's roster because it looks really incredibly overpowered. Alright, so we've got Kid Flash, Black Canary, Martian Manhunter, The Flash, and our replacements. Mr. Terrific for Black Panther, and for Spider-Man, Superman. Now, Superman has been stuck in the Sonyverse for quite a while. He's had 3 Superman movies, with the third one not doing so well with the audience, and getting a reboot, with 2 movies that did not really do well at all with the audience, and thus he's now in the new DCEU. And the only character that I could think of for Black Panther is Mr. Terrific, because he's also a master genius and he's got tons of technology, plus the race thing. So yeah, that's a big part that I casted him, because he's our first black-led superhero. And yet, following that, we then have Doctor Strange, and its replacement will be Dr. Fate. And our Infinity Stone replacement will be Dr. Fate's helmet. Now, the reason why I chose this is because Dr. Fate's helmet is related to Vandal Savage. Because Nabu, which is the, like, conscience in Dr. Fate's helmet, it used to be alive, and it used to be a real life person, and it was Vandal Savage's brother. So that's the connection. I think it's supposed to be his son or something, but for the sake of this, we're going to be making it into his brother. The next film is Titans Volume 2, which features Saturn Girl and Trigon. But instead of Trigon looking like his comic book counterpart, he will look like Starro, or his name will be Starro, and Raven will be the main character of this one. Now, keep in mind, I do love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It's probably my second favourite Guardians of the Galaxy film. with Guardians Volume 3 being the best one. But they do make Jason into Ego, so we're gonna have to change it for this we have to make Trigon into a big giant space celestial being. So that's why I chose Sorrow. Following that, we have Superman Homecoming, which is our Spider-Man Homecoming film. And I don't know if we're going to make him into a young Superman or an old Superman that just came back from the dead. But we need a way of explaining why he wasn't in the previous films in the franchise. This video is getting a bit longer, so I'm going to speed run the next few films. We then have probably the best Green Lantern movie with Green Lantern Atrocitus, which features Atrocitus as the main villain and has Wonder Woman in it, just like how Thor Ragnarok had Hela and Hulk. So yeah, that's the next movie. We then have Mr. Terrific, which is our first black-led superhero movie in the DCEU, just like how Black Panther was in the MCU. Now for our Infinity War replacement, we now have Justice League Doom, which features our biggest cast for this entire franchise. And we have Vandal Savage as the main villain. So, let me get to all the teams. Everyone, and let me just list everyone in this movie. Martian Manhunter, Kid Flash, Black Canary, The Flash, Superman, Mr. Miracle, Arsenal, Green Arrow, Raven, and Cyborg, as well as Saturn Girl. We would also have Wonder Woman and Green Lantern returning, but Green Lantern wouldn't have his lantern ring. Instead, he'll have his white lantern ring, because Thor got Stormbreaker in Infinity War, so I thought it would only make sense. Also, Green Lantern would be the main superhero in this movie, but Vandal Savage will be the main villain of this movie, the main lead, basically. Just like how Thanos was the main character of Infinity War. Also, Dr. Fate will end up dying in this film, with his helmet getting taken away from him by Vandal Savage. And then we move on to our end game. As our counterpart to Ant-Man and the Wasp, we have Atom and the Bumblebee, with Bumblebee being our replacement to the Wasp. This film would introduce time travel to the DCEU, with Kronos from the Atom being the main villain, and Atom would steal his chair. And that's how we find time travel, and that's how it exists. We then have Shazam, which is our counterpart to Captain Marvel, ironically. And this film would be boring, unlike the actual Shazam film, because Captain Marvel was boring, and I regret watching it. Alright, and finally, we then have Justice League War, which is our final Justice League movie of this saga, which I will be calling Justice League the Doom Saga. It's going to be called the Doom Saga because it sounds cool. And I'm not going to be telling you who's going to be in this film, because there's going to be a hell of a lot of people in this film. There's going to be everyone in the DCEU in this film, and it's going to feature time travel, so it's going to take a while. And plus, this video is getting really long, so I'm going to get to the final film of the Doom Saga, which is Superman Far From Hope. I really appreciate it if you stuck around for this long, and yeah, I'm not going to keep you here for this long because the video's already long enough. So, if you liked it, hit like, and if you want to see more, comment. Tell me what you think about this video. I could make a few changes and tweaks to it if you want. And if this video does well, I'll do part 2, which I will cover the multiverse saga if you want me to. Alright, so this video is kind of dragging on, so I'm going to end it here. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. It really helps out a lot. Okay, bye.